Just in the course of the week, we saw how PDP leaders were fighting dirty at their national secretariat. We also saw the Senator Nwoko also defecting from the PDP. He hasn't stated what party he is going to join, but he has defected from the PDP. These are some of the issues in the course of the week, and the NLC has said it is going to go on a national, or have a national protest on February the 4th, which is on Tuesday, because of the hike in the tariff of telecoms tariff. These are some of the issues we're looking at today on Standpoint. I am Precious Amayo. All right, so Mr. Nwoko's resignation was contained in a letter dated 30th January and addressed to the chairman of the PDP in his ward, which is Ward 8, Nwoko North local government area of the state. Now, he did not announce the party he would join, but speculations about Mr. Nwoko's exit from the party had been on for weeks following allegations of a strained relationship between him and the Delta State Governor, Sheriff Oborevwori, and then also the former governor, Ifeanyi Okowa. Mr. Okowa was the Delta North senator between 2011 and 2015. But also at the national level, we saw the fisticuff at the Board of Trustees meeting in Abuja, the PDP secretariat, where two people who are laying claim to the position of the national secretary, that's Okoye and Ayawu, were at that meeting, and during the meeting there was a heated argument between the embattled National Secretary Samuel Anyanwu and Sunday Okoye, who is a former national youth leader of the party, over the secretary position. The altercation escalated into a physical brawl, with their supporters throwing chairs and objects at each other before security agencies intervened. Meanwhile, the governors elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party met in Asaba, the Delta State capital, yesterday to discuss the issues affecting the party's unity. The governors, who were dressed, of course, in the traditional attires of the South people, had the sit-down at the Delta State Government House in Asaba on Friday. They were received by Sheriff Oborevwori, and they have come up with somewhat a solution. They are recognizing Okoye as the national secretary of the party, and they have fixed, I think it's March 4th or 14th, March 13th rather, for the National Working Committee meeting in the nation's capital. These are some of the issues we're looking at today. Let's bring in our guest. He is now. Our guest is joining us from Delta State. Let me try and get that all together now. He is Director General, Delta State Orientation and Communication Bureau. He joins us via Zoom. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
All right. So I want to begin from, because again, this is now a national issue, and I want to stay more on what is happening at the national level in the PDP. But let's begin from Delta State for just a brief minute. What we're seeing in Delta State, the defection of the of Senator Nwoko, does that have to, does that trickle down from the head, or is that local politics within Delta State?
It's local politics. The Nwoko stuff has been on for quite a while, and we all knew that in the very near future he would defect. This as a result of 2027 politics, getting a ticket of a party to run. Because we know it in Delta today in the PDP family that Nwoko has disconnected from the party structure. He has not been working with the party leaders in Delta State. And of course, as we have it today, the governor of the state, Dr. Sheriff Francis Oborevwori, is the leader of PDP in Delta State. And Nwoko has not been connecting well. He came up with a lot of issues bordering on his inability to deliver dividend of democracy to his constituents. And for us in PDP, we believe that this is laughable. Laughable in the sense that as a senator, there is no altercation, there's no role that the government or the governor plays in the discharge of his responsibility as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And he has all that it takes to deliver to his constituents. And the governor has encouraged him tremendously on the delivery of democracies to his people. But we hear that Ned is somehow scared that he might not get a PDP ticket in 2027.
When you say, just a minute, when you say he might not get a PDP ticket, is that to run as senator, or is he looking to run for another position?
For a senator.
All right.
Senator, because we in PDP, we believe that Ned has misrepresented our party at the National Assembly. We are a family that is well organized and we have structure. And there are things that we do not tolerate within the party structure.
And when you say misrepresented, what does that mean?
What it means is that the issues that he raised concerning delivery of dividend of democracy to his people is at variance with what we believe in the PDP. Because in the PDP, we believe in procedure. We believe in obeying laws. And there is this issue of by step down, which is a joint venture of the federal government, the NNPCL, and the federal government. And I think one of the parties in that agreement failed to perform their responsibility by way of supplying about 20% of of the lights generated in that area to immediate communities. And that is not the business of the state government. But Ned went ahead to say that the governor of the state should bring the money to step down the power. And we said, in a joint venture agreement which is legally binding, for you to bring another party into the agreement, then all the stakeholders must come to a round table to discuss the possibility of bringing in Delta State government. And you have to bring Delta State government legally, not by a meeting you had with your constituents in your city room, in your hometown, ordering the governor to bring the money to do the step down. Because the government and governor of Delta State, they've never been party to that agreement. And any agreement that is legally backed, you can't, for you to bring another party into that agreement, it connotes that the agreement has to be amended or vitiated to bring in a third party. And then all the benefits and the responsibilities of all the party will be well stated. But because Ned wanted to play politics, he felt he could just use that as a leeway to find his way out of the party by saying the governor did not bring out the money. How can governor bring out the money for a project that the state government is not party to? Okay, so I think that's how it started. And we told Ned that is not the way to do things. You are a legislator.
Dr. Fred, if I may comment, because you made a statement earlier, which almost sounds as though some decisions had been made behind the scene. You said because he felt or he knew that he was not going to get the party ticket in 2027, which indicates that perhaps leaders of the party in Delta State had already made that decision not to give him.
No. That is not what I meant. No, that's not what I meant. What I meant is that he misfired. He misfired by, making some derogatory statement against the leader of the party, who is also the governor of the state, by saying that there is so much money in Delta. He does not see the reason why the governor cannot bring money to do the step down. And we say, yes, the governor, we are not saying that Delta is poor at this moment. We thank God for all the blessings that God has given us. But if we must engage, if we must enter into an agreement, that agreement, the other parties involved in that joint venture agreement must be brought to the round table with Delta State government. And so you have to do the needful. Because what we are asking for is a complicated matter that has strong legal backings. And for us to be involved, it means you have to get all the other parties involved to the round table No, you ordering the governor. No, you ordering. Not you. Not him. Excuse me, ma'am. Not him. No. Yes.
I will let you complete that statement. But I mean, I know that the governor is the leader of the party in the state. I mean, the structure of the party, he's in control of it. But you also know that Senator Nwoko is also not small in the party. He has his supporters. He puts a lot of weight nationally as well. To allow someone like that to leave the party, were there attempts, to negotiate with him and ensure that he stays within the party, because he is also part of that structure you're talking about?
Well, well, what I should have done is probably to send video clips of the relationship between Nwoko and the governor to you. They had a very robust relationship, very clean relationship. They were best of friends. If you ask Nwoko, he will admit this. The governor is a peacemaker. You hardly find him make, enemy. He does not like making enemy with anybody. And then what happened was that Ned felt that what he did was wrong by bringing some of his supporters to his home and telling them that the Delta State government has so much money and that they should be involved in the step down of Okpai without going through the normal procedure or the legal procedure to get the state government involved. And we were not happy with this, and we told him. And instead of Ned to apologize for that conduct, he insisted that the state government should sponsor that project. And we said, it's not as if we are not willing to sponsor the project, but why can't you just get everybody to the round table? Get the federal government, get AGIP, get NNPCL, and then bring Delta State government to the table to discuss and see how we can get ourselves involved. He wasn't interested, as if he had made up his mind that this project will be used as a springboard, to negotiate his exit from the party.
Well, he's now that he's left, he's likely to be in the opposition in Delta State. How will that play out for politics and for your governor, who you say has a very robust relationship with him?
Well, we in PDP, we are not disturbed at all. We are very, very strong in Delta. I know for a truth that the APC in Delta is not grassrooted. What you see is in the media, what you see is in the social media. But when it comes to grassroots politics and mobilizing the people, it's PDP, because the governor has done extremely well. You are aware that recently he won the award of the best governor of the year on infrastructure and socio-economic development. And he has never borrowed a penny from anywhere in the world. And he's not willing to borrow. So the governor is doing a lot. We are building bridges. We are empowering youth. We are supporting small-scale businesses. We're doing a lot in Delta. We are doing well for our students. They are getting their bursaries. There's healthcare services for our students now across the nation. So the governor is doing so well that we know that in 2027, these 3 senatorial seats that we have lost in the National Assembly, we are going to, reclaim them in 2027. And Ned Nwoko knows that of a truth, that what the governor of this state, Delta State, Right Honorable Sheriff Francis Oborowo is doing, that in 2027, we are going to claim the entire 3 seats in the National Assembly.
All right, so let's move, because you seem very optimistic, but let's now move to the national level. The governor, that's Governor Oborowo, was part of the meeting, he hosted the meeting of the PDP governors on Friday, and they arrived at a conclusion that Ude Okoye should continue as a national secretary, even though there is a stay of execution on the Court of Appeal judgment, insisting that on judgment that Ude Okoye is a national secretary. And Anyanwu has said, well, he's not going to follow through with the directive of the governors. Well,
like you rightly said, the governors of our party have decided. And the issue of the secretary is now before the National Working Committee. And I'm sure they are going to have a meeting on the 13th of March or thereabout. And this issue will be laid to rest. So I think that the governor of our party across the nation, in their wisdom, has decided. And I think that decision is suitable to all of us in the party. And I think it's something that we should work towards to achieve. because there are procedures in the system, and any man, any woman who is a loyalist of our party should be able to align himself with the decision of our leaders. And for us in Delta, and for us in PDP Delta State, the decisions of the PDP governors in Delta, we appreciate it, and we give into it, and we do hope that all our members across the nation will also accept this.
But you said there are procedures, but he's also following the procedure, and he says, look, the governors are not recognized. There is nothing like PDP Governors Forum in the constitution of the party, that they're perhaps at best a pressure group.
That's just that's his personal opinion. Yeah, and everybody is free he has freedom of speech. So whatever he may like to say, but for any right-thinking politician who knows his onions, you cannot, and you can never downplay the decisions of all the governors of your party. If you do so, you do that at your own peril.
So I just, for a lot of people, they wonder as well why it's been so difficult for the PDP to put its house together since the 2023 election, and to actually now play the role of the opposition that it was meant to play. It's been so difficult. And why? And then the governors have had a meeting, but they have not resolved the exact issues. I mean, it's just the fallout of the main issues that are being resolved.
When you have a child that is a deviant, and when you have a child that is very, very aggressive, you handle that child with care. And we all know how all of this started from the 2023 general elections. We know the role that Wike is playing in all of these hula baloo that we'll talk about today. And we know his strong affiliation with the ruling party and how he intends to manipulate and to put our party in bad light. We are watching, but we know that the PDP, our party, we overcome, and we're almost there.
Are you almost there, or is it getting worse? Because at the point where you had the national reconciliation, I mean, I think it's the Oyinlola-led reconciliation committee. They were in the north zone of the country to try and meet with the governors, stakeholders, in terms of reconciling those in the party, is when this fight was going on. And then another committee has now been set up to look into the issue of the national secretary. And just a lot of committees, but it doesn't seem like any movement is being made. So are you almost at the point where this issue is being resolved?
Yes, we are. You know, even the relationship between a husband and a wife, when they have issues, it starts with both of them. It goes from there to members of the family of the wife, of the husband. If that is not done, they might just go to court. Maybe one of the parties would file a divorce petition. And while the divorce petition is going on, the court might just issue a decree 9C, which gives the party another maybe 6 months or thereabout to think about their marriage and see if they can come back together. And when that is not possible, then the decree absolute is issued. Where we are now is we are at the point where family members are still looking at the matter. There is no divorce petition in this matter, and I do hope strongly that we are going to succeed.
So I listened to a former BOT member, Chief Bode George, talking about this issue. And when you say family member, what I sort of insinuated from what he said was the party has gone beyond, or degenerated from being a party family to now being a party that belongs to two people, and then what you see is almost like a war between factions loyal to these people, and that's the camp of the Wike camp and the Atiku camp.
I don't see factions in PDP as a member. I don't think there is faction in the PDP. What I see in the PDP is family members having issues, and our party has the capacity to resolve, and we're going to resolve that very soon.
But doesn't resolution start with at least ensuring that the squabble between the former Vice President Atiku and former governor, who is now the Minister of the FCT, Wike, that you ensure that that is resolved, because everybody believes that that flows, all of the other crisis flows from there. Yes, you're quite right. And I think our party leaders are working on that, and we are going to get there very, very soon. Which party leaders, please? Because again, we haven't seen any move. It doesn't look like Wike is ready to reconcile. It doesn't look like Atiku is ready to reconcile. So who are the party leaders basically working on it? In your intro today, you referred to the meetings of the PDP governors in Delta and the resolutions that were reached. And I think that's a step in the right direction. I am sure the governors will not stop at that level. They will still go ahead to consult with other leaders of the party behind the closed doors, and they will find a way around this, and I'm sure very soon it will be resolved. Wike also had an issue with the governors recently in terms of the statement that were made concerning his role in the PDP in Rivers State. Can the governors reach out to him? Yes, but you know too well that the role Wike is playing is complicated. Wike is playing a very dangerous role. And that dangerous role also requires some very strong strategies, result-oriented strategies on how to overcome the Wike skills of manipulations. And we are working on those Wike skills of manipulations. And it's a strong tendency to do what is unusual. Wike is a fox in politics today. The decisions he's taking to disseminate our party is well noted. But our leaders have the capacity, they have the capability to overcome the Wike skills when it comes to reconciliation. We will reconcile, and that is I am guaranteed that we will reconcile. All right, so Dr. Fred, let me put you on hold as we take a break now, where we will return in just a moment to continue this conversation. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Standpoint. We've been looking at the PDP crisis, whether in Delta State or also at the national level. We've been speaking with the Director General, Delta State Orientation and Communications Bureau, Dr. Fred Ogenesiwe. Thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you very much. So the National Working Committee meeting has now been fixed for March the 13th, and it's expected that Ude Okoye is the one who will come as the National Secretary. But isn't that also problematic? Because when Ayawu keeps saying he is still the National Secretary, and I'm sure he would want to also attend that meeting. Well, he's free to attend. There's no issues if he attends. But I think the decision of the party and the party leaders and the decision of governors is more paramount, it's more important for us. And if he comes around, I expect that he conduct himself responsibly, because he's still a member of the party, he's a major stakeholder. And politics is not about self all the time. Sometimes politics is about, give and take, and how, as a family, we can move forward progressively. And I think he's interested in our party remaining one strong, united family. And because I believe he is that kind of man, if he attends the party meeting on that day, is likely to behave responsibly and to toe, the line that our leaders of the parties are told. Would it not be better to keep both of them out until all of these issues are resolved, since there is already a committee that is looking at all of the court cases and judgments and looking for, deciding, the way forward and who is actually the National Secretary? Well, that is left for our party leaders and what they think is more appropriate to do at that meeting. So that is not in my office or in my understanding to say or to decide. I think our leaders will handle that the best way. Is the PDP still in the running for 2027? This question is really problematic. I don't know why you have to ask me this kind of question. Our party is strong.
we're working on the ground. It's not about media politics. It's not about social media politics. We are doing great. We are working. You saw what we did in Edo State of recent. It was marvelous. We are still in court over Edo State election because we know the strength of our party. And that strength will be doubled and multiplied in 2027. You'll be amazed what PDP will do in 2027.
The former vice president, who was the presidential candidate of the party in 2023, have had a meeting with Peter Obi, who was the presidential candidate of Labour Party, and there were talks about a merger. Did that meeting hold on behalf of your party? Will the party in 2027 be willing to have a Peter Obi as its presidential candidate?
I'm not aware of Peter Obi having a meeting with NEC or other organs of the party. Okay, I'm not aware of that. And I believe that you and we are talking now on TV. And if I come to your house tomorrow and say, hey, how are you? How can we collaborate? That is quite different from the view or the opinion of other members of your family. And also, whatever I will discuss with you is not binding on TVC. It's between Dr. Latimo and your humble self. So if our great leader and former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, is holding a meeting with his own political son and friend, Obi, on the way forward, it's welcomed. But I don't think that is at the level of the party hierarchy as we speak.
We're watching developments in your party. We'll continue to report them. And then we're also looking forward to that March the 13th NWC meeting. Thank you so much for your time. Director General, Delta State Orientation and Communications Bureau, Dr. Fred Ogenesiri.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for a very brilliant interview. Thank you so very much.